Hello, everyone. Welcome to MayFly Disc Golf, the Oklahoma Disc Golf channel. I'm Andrew here with Randy May.
Hello, everybody. We're featuring today on our MPO lead card Brandon Cawthorn. We got Scott Adams, Mr. Larry Gardner, we'll be calling him LG, and last but not least, Seth Ward.
The whole purpose of this tournament is to bring awareness to the Norman Youth Disc Golf Association, help raise funds for the little kids this year in their summer season. Last 3 years we've sanctioned 3 junior tournaments in the Norman area and helped qualify kids for Junior Worlds. This year we got, I think, 6 kids qualified and going to Emporia. Last year we had 6 or 7 kids go out to Tulsa for Junior Worlds, and my son went all the way up to Peoria, Illinois the year before that, so it's a good cause out here at NYDGA at the Future Legends Open.
Right on, thank you.
Yeah, I interviewed a couple of
So
kids
you ready to
here.
play today?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Otter.
I'm saying it again.
Otter.
Otter?
Otto.
Otto. Yeah, so what's your big plans for today? You gonna take it down? Just to play. How's it going today? What's your name? Hendrix? Good. You play a lot of disc golf?
I played a tournament yesterday and I won.
You won? Nice, good job. What's your goal for today? Take it down? Good. What do you shoot out here, do you know? Pretty tough course. Pretty big course. Well, good luck to you today. You're welcome.
Sure is good to see a fair amount of youth out there playing disc golf, just like these pros, and seeing the sport grow. So, starting here at hole 1, we've got a par 3. It's about 300 feet, dog legs to the right. Most of these players are going to be going for a forehand and hoping for a little bit of that flare skip to get over to the basket.
Yeah, the forehand is definitely the play. I don't have a forehand, and watching these guys do this is pretty special throwing.
Here's Scott Adams, good friend of the channel. He's been featured on the channel before. He's also going with the forehand play.
You'll see Scott out on the Pro Tour sometime. I saw him in Kansas City this year, Kansas City Wide Open. Good player.
I like LG's throw, kind of battling against that left side tree, put a little bit more flex on it so he can get a little bit more of that exaggerated kind of flare skip.
Yeah, LG, I learned pretty quick. He plays really fast. There's a couple of times I missed his shots because he doesn't stall around when he plays. Oh, Scott, he should have hit that, but
a couple of chains out. Randy, what can you tell us about the weather for this tournament this weekend?
it was really nice weather. Just a bit of wind, not much, but perfect disc golf weather. And you'll see as we go on that we'll also feature the lead card round of this tournament in another video, and it was a little bit more windy. They were over at Northeast Lions.
Well, while these guys are finishing up their putts, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and comment. And if you're ever interested, shoot us an email. Let us know if you're interested in shooting around with the channel. We'd be happy to do so for you.
Yeah. Okay, we have hole 2, par 3, 236 feet, triple Mando, and really requires just a good straight shot up that fairway. But it's a hard one to get, but these guys do a pretty good job. It's a nice shot by Scott.
Yeah, I think you want to account a little bit for the height difference from the tee pad to top of the basket. There's a little bit of a crusted hill there. Most of these guys are going to try to throw nice and straight and high. Looks like that one maybe just came out a little early, but he'll still have a small look at the basket.
Yeah, if you can just kind of hit, 20, 30 feet in front of the basket, let it just skip on up. It's great. That's a good shot by Brandon.
Yeah, that's a good recovery. Ooh.
Yeah, it's always
That's
funny
a great
to watch.
putt from LG.
Yeah, it is. Just to watch people's reactions when they miss a putt. Everybody has their own kind of,
Yeah. He had a really good putt angle, for that distance, and especially with that right side tree that he was sort of working with.
Seth cleaning his bar up.
Start falling.
We move here to hole 3, par 3. It's about 218 feet. This is another sort of dog leg backhand turnover.
Yeah, there's a creek off to the right.
Yeah, the creek plays OB, if I remember correctly. And you'll see quite a few of the players go for the forehand here. I personally, even with a forehand, I kind of like the turnover shot for this. I think it shapes up the fairway just a little better than the forehand does.
Skip.
That was a beautiful shot. Fantastic.
Gorgeous shot. Perfect angle, perfect amount of cut from the disc itself. He will be set up very nicely for a look at birdie.
He went off into the creek there. It's hard to see that disc because it hit the tree and just went straight down.
Yeah, if you get caught early before all of these sort of long kind of spindly trees, I mean, it's a tough recovery in order to scramble for your par.
I gotta get it up. Horrible run.
Wide stance from Brandon for his putt. Ooh, just short.
Yeah.
It's hard to really get that height on whenever you're having to do kind of a longer stance like that for a longer putt.
Scott's gonna clean his up. These guys were a fun card to film. They great birdie by Seth. They like to joke around with each other and have a good time while they were playing. So that kind of made it nice. Their scores through 3. So hole 4, par 3, 434 feet. This is just kind of throwing a big Anheuser bomb over those trees to get out into the fairway.
Yeah, this is a favorite hole of mine at this course, just because it's almost broken up into two fairways. You've got this first initial gap that you have to hit, throw that big turnover shot, like Randy had mentioned, and then your second shot is throwing
Go LG.
sort of through a cutout area in the trees and just trying to get yourself into the basket or near the basket.
Boy, that
Huge
just
tournament
barely
over.
got over for Scott.
I think it kept going. Let's flight.
So now you can kind of see where these guys have stepped into that kind of second fairway, and they'll just have their pitch ups to the open basket.
Nice up.
Yeah. Good upshots from everyone. Seems like they all kind of, other than Scott, might have left it a little bit on the shorter side, but should be able to get these putts in and recover.
Yeah, Brandon is really good. All these guys are, though. I learned some different lines on this course that I'd never even thought about throwing because of how they play and attack this course.
Big thumbs up from Seth on his
Yeah.
birdie.
Them baskets will catch anything.
These were the baskets I was telling them. Seth was more action this round than I had on yours.
All right, there's your
Nice
scores.
star frame. Yeah. So hole 5, it's par 3, 286 feet.
Oh boy.
One of the, I would say one of the trickier holes on this course. You've got sort of a split fairway, but if you have a big arm, just like Seth, you can kind of go over the two fairways and put yourself near the basket. That's a great line from Scott.
Almost.
It's tricky to try and get the height right on this hole just because the branches themselves hang a little bit lower than I think you anticipate, especially off the tee.
Brandon's just going to lay it up.
Pretty amazing how close Seth got, throwing over everything.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You don't see this on the video, but we looked for his disc for quite a bit, and where he was standing, it was up in the tree above him about 10 feet. So somebody finally spotted it. I think we found a couple other discs while we were looking for his. So far, pretty tight round. We have hole 6, par 3, 326 feet. This is just throwing a big hyzer, letting it fade down beyond that kind of big evergreen, and kind of to the left of that telephone pole is the basket. You could get there with a anti-shot, anhyzer, or I don't know, maybe a roller, but I think the play is just a big hyzer bomb.
I agree. Yeah, you've got enough open space here that, whatever shot shape you're comfortable with, you can probably get to the basket. You really only have that one tree sort of in the middle of the fairway that you have to really contend with.
Yeah, and Scott kind of went the Annie route.
Hmm. Big forehand here from Brandon.
Get over there. Nice shot.
Yeah, LG got stopped by that tree that I was talking about. Just
There's the wind.
Yeah, when I got to the course and was talking to Scott, he's like, I left my disc golf bag at my house. And he's like, so he was talking to a buddy, borrowed a bag, just sitting there looking through his disc. I'll try this one, I'll try this one. So he's playing with a totally new bag.
wow. Playing very well for playing with a brand new bag,
Yeah.
gotta say.
Nice bird.
All right, hole 7, it's par 3, 272 feet. You've got a pretty straight shot. You want a little bit of fade at the end of its flight. There's a couple of trees to kind of contend with near the basket, but
Yeah, the best shot on this for me is kind of a low hyzer, swing it out and kind of let it go back under those trees and kind of get down to the basket. Just kind of like that.
yeah. Yeah, you just want that little bit of fade, and you also don't want to get the disc too high that you would be fighting with the trees.
Scott with a layup.
Yeah.
Oh, LG hit the tree.
Oh, bad luck. We'll have a long look at the par.
Forehand guy.
You see the wind picked up there. Look at those trees blowing. Nice.
Great putt. Yeah. Very nice putt. Yeah, I think as you start to get to this more open section of the course, you do start fighting with the wind a little bit more.
Yeah. Hole 8, par 4, 538 feet. This is a tough one to get to from the pro pad because of all the trees and kind of got a narrow fairway. But forehand is the play. And there is OB over there. You can see those white flags.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your throw off the tee is really just trying to set you up for your second shot. It'll put you into kind of the second half of this fairway where you'll have a better look at getting a better look at the basket itself.
LG goes OB.
Yeah, just a little too much fade on that disc. This is kind of a pinched section here for Seth.
Oh.
Oof. Just not the right angle.
Just try not to hit a tree.
Yeah.
Did you see that he hit somebody's disc?
Yeah.
And I don't know the rule. I don't know the rule for that, but I heard him talking about it. I think they maybe moved the disc back to where it probably originally was before it got hit. I don't know.
Possibly. I can
Put
see
it in the
a world
comments
in which,
if you know the rules.
Yeah, definitely.
What a fighter. That's a putt.
It was a nice approach from LG, just a bit short, right next to that guardian tree.
Brandon has such a nice forehand.
Yeah, very smooth forehand. Got a lot of power behind it too. It's kind of an unfortunate position for Scott because it looked like that his second throw, that forehand, could have gotten a good amount of skip. But hitting
Boom.
that
Did you see that?
Whoa!
Oh my gosh!
No way.
No, that was the fire
I take
bird.
back everything I
With his
said.
buddy's bag.
Shout out
He's
Nick
talking
Nielsen.
to
That
you
was
like,
his disc.
don't talk about my shot. Check out the slow fly.
Gorgeous forehand.
Yeah. And he's like, that isn't even my disc.
It's funny because he really challenged that ceiling, but man, did he give that a good run. Great birdie throw in there for Scott.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mr. Adam.
Bit short on the putt for LG.
Nice bird. That's how you're supposed to birdie it.
Played it wrong. Supposed to go firebird from 250.
Brandon's down 4 through 8, man. Scott's down 3 through 8. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Hole 9, it's a par 3. It's 271 feet. It's a pretty straightforward shot. You've got this sort of initial spot through the trees, and you want to make sure that you get this just kind of low and straight towards that basket.
Park job.
Seems like that disc was maybe a little bit too overstable, or maybe just the edge caught that wind and pushed it down. It'll have a long look for the birdie.
Yeah, that wind's gusting.
Yeah.
He gets a nice skip here.
Swing. There you go.
Yeah, great shots from the rest of the card. Scott will have some work here to get a birdie.
He's laughing. He wanted that.
Well, I think after getting a throw in, I don't know that you can ask for more additional luck and skill.
Yeah. Well, everybody carded a birdie on this except for Scott, but
I don't really deserve a birdie after the last one.
oh, it was almost done. Good one. Hole 10, par 3, 281 feet. This is just a big Anheuser shot, or with the backhand or forehand shot. I like this hole. I've birdied it quite a few times, and it feels good to get it.
Yeah. I agree. I think the big Anheuser is a better play than the forehand. You'll see quite a few of the guys go for the forehand here. It's mostly because they've got the power and the distance to go.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one tree right next to the basket that you kind of have to look out for as far as the forehand goes.
Yeah, it's right on the way to the basket for sure. That just stayed too straight. There it kind of hooked. But
Yeah, not enough fade on that disc.
good up from Seth.
Yeah. So now that we're kind of into the second shot in these bits for birdie, you can kind of see why the backhand Anheuser might favor a little bit more, just because you can get that A little bit of extra fade, a little bit of extra distance on the turnover, whereas the forehands kind of get left short. The longer grass also prevents any skipping or anything like that.
Brandon missed that. Yeah, it also depends on the wind too. Good birdie
Great birdie.
from the backhand.
Yeah, if the wind's favorable, I mean, I think the forehand's a great play. We'll see the rest of the card clean up these pars and LG.
All right, we have hole 11, par 3. And this is your time to call, but I'll say it, 366 feet.
Yeah. Tight gap off the fairway. He's got to get in between these two trees, and then it's a pretty straightforward distance throw.
Oh, man.
Basket's a little off to that left side of the fairway, but shapes up really nicely for just a very nice straight, distance shot. A little bit of fade at the end. Just got to make sure you don't shank it off one of those initial trees. But
Yeah.
good throws so far from the card. Everyone's coming off the tee clean.
It's a fair gap between the trees, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That can go in. Skip it. Skip.
He hit the pole.
Oh!
Man,
Thanks.
lawn darts for these guys.
Yeah. I love this course. Ruby Grand is probably on my locally around this area, in my top 5.
I agree.
Same thing I did
feel like
yesterday,
it,
just left.
it gives you a little bit of the distance, a little bit of wooded. The AM and the Pro tees are great condition and great position. It's a fun course to play.
It is.
Scott just a bit short on that putt. I wonder if that maybe had a tailwind, just kind of pushed it down.
Yeah.
Wasn't favorable enough.
Nice. Birdie by Brandon.
Brandon's really got a strong putt. I mean, he's hitting these putts really well. LG's got a tough lie here.
Got it.
Boom! Through the trees.
LG had a caddy with him, pulling his little cart around, and nice birdie, Seth.
Clean up par there for Scott. And it's nice having a caddy. It's nice having just like an extra person to talk through your shots and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that, so.
Hole 12, it's a bomb, 616 feet, par 4. You got a huge fairway. There's grass on each side of the fairway that's kind of tall, but as far as I know, I don't think there's any OB on this.
Yeah. To my knowledge, there's not. I mean, you've got the tall grass that kind of shapes up the fairway a little bit. 600 feet's big distance, especially with the wind, if you're fighting with the wind. And
Nope, that's the one that was.
And these guys right here were throwing. When we got out to their disc, I asked him, I said, how far is this throw? And he said, oh, they're about 400 plus. But he said it'd be a lot more, but the wind just kind of kept them from throwing that extra probably, 60, 80 feet.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If you've got a favorable wind, if you've got like a tail or even a left to right cross, you might be able to get the extra distance to get to about 500 or so and have a really short upshot. But if you're battling with a headwind, a disc is probably not going to get very far. Scott leaving it a little bit on the long.
Yeah, he did.
That's okay.
Nice, Seth.
Thank you.
Good shot. And that's going to be an easy putt for Brandon. Let's see what LG can do here. See that wind push it up?
All day, bye.
Oh, he wanted that. He doesn't miss very many putts that are that close. It was just, like I said, the wind was really kind of
Yeah, just
picking
kind of
up.
some bad putting luck for these guys. Seems like that being kind of in this more open part of the course is making the putting a little bit difficult.
Mm-hmm. I've seen Scott play quite a few rounds in my days, and of course, we know he's not using his disc on this round, but he's a lot better player than what he's showing us today.
All right, hole 13. It's a par 3, 336 feet. You want a nice long drift to the right with a backhand throw. It'll put you in good position. There's a handful of guardian trees that you kind of have to keep an eye out for, but still within putting range.
Yeah, and you want to stay off that right side over there. That's a creek, and if you get some of those places, it's 10 or 15 feet down in that creek. You don't want to get down in there. But there is also, Andrew, there's a line to throw a backhand hyzer off to the right and let it come back over those trees and down into the fairway. And I see a lot of people throwing that. I've tried it. It actually works pretty well. Well, Scott got lucky and got through there.
Yeah, kind of snuck that in between those trees. I'll have a really long approach to get in range for his par, but
close to OB, but he didn't go OB.
Yeah. There's those guardian trees coming into play.
Yep.
These pines out here are really thick, so it makes it really hard. It's not like the kind of lighter, on some of these lighter trees and stuff that you can kind of punch a disc through. Seth almost went kind of long for his shot, which is impressive.
Very impressive. Scott's going to kind of take his time and see if he can get this in. Oh, no.
Oof. Weak side. Unfortunate bogey for Scott, but Brandon with 6 down on the day. Very impressive, kind of through 13.
Yeah, Scott's kind of lost a few. Hole 14, par 3, 2 feet. This is just a little chip shot. There's some OB behind the basket, so you don't want to go long. But that throw right there is just a play to get to that basket.
Yeah.
Just a putter or mid-range.
Yeah, honestly, perfect disc for this hole would be almost like a cast-to-class bird, something that just flies straight but then drops right around that 200 feet and puts you within putting range.
Did you say Berg?
Berg.
I thought people don't throw Bergs anymore.
Go in.
There was that meme for a while about, oh no, he's throwing a Berg.
Yeah.
Good
nice
putt.
little jump putt. Yeah, nice jump putt from Seth.
12.
Yeah, pretty easy, straightforward hole. Nothing too fancy about it, but it is a nice break in between kind of these longer holes that you get. 11 through 13.
Star frame. Good job, guys.
All right, hole 15. It's par 3, 341 feet. Mostly open fairway until you get within about 80, 90 feet of the basket, and that's when you start to get into this wood line here. You want something that's going to punch right through the middle.
Stay up.
Nice,
Now,
LG.
Randy, is the long grass, is that playing as out of bounds?
I do not believe it is. There's no flags or anything over there, so no, it's not.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I'll miss my throw and I'll hyzer over into that grass, and I'll just do a big old, like a spike hyzer up into the trees and let it fall down towards the basket. Pretty easy play.
Thanks, guy.
Yeah.
Just throw that disc every.
But these guys are a little bit more accurate than I am with their tee-offs.
Yeah, honestly, all the guys had really great throws. I know Seth left it a little bit short, but, still on line for the basket. Great throw.
Oh, no.
Man, just off right side chain. That's unfortunate miss for Brandon.
There we go, Scott.
Bye, boy.
Yeah, good strong putt there from Scott. Good birdie. LG is going to have his look for the birdie as well.
Yeah, LG. Attaboy, LG. Jizzle. Drive, dude.
Yeah, they all played this hole pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
Hole 16, par 4, 427 feet. This is just kind of coming down a tunnel, and you have to kind of hyzer around the trees and kind of just land it up in the fairway for your first shot. And then your second shot, you can throw up and kind of get to the basket, which is kind of guarded quite a bit by some trees. So it's a fun little hole to do, but it certainly is a placement shot hole.
Yeah. Hyzer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is that one tree that both Seth and Scott hit is kind of the trickiest tree that you kind of have to get around on this hole.
Yeah.
Brandon put himself in a good position, maybe a little bit shorter than desired. We'll have kind of a longer second shot.
I was surprised the throws that they had coming out of that tree. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah. Here comes another one flying out of the trees.
Strong drifting forehand there.
The basket's right behind that tree. You can't see it but it's parked.
Yeah, there's some great second shots. Honestly, if you had enough distance, you could have a look at a really long eagle look, but you'd really have to punch something high and on hyzer and get it to push.
Yeah.
Yeah, right where LG was, that's kind of the perfect landing spot for your second shot to get within birdie range.
Nice bid, LG.
Yeah, really nice bid. Just a bit short.
Outside.
Seth taking a
Outside.
knee here.
Yeah, he's like, "Am I good with his foot?" And they're all, "Yeah, whatever."
That would have been such a 33.
It's funny, and somebody's inside of a tree. Nobody can see him. We're like, "Am I good?" They're all like, "Yeah."
I think so.
They don't have any idea where his foot is in comparison to the mini.
Thank you.
All right, hole 17. This one's a par 5. It's 515 feet. Really interesting hole. You've got the triple mando here. You've got to punch straight through that. Put yourself in position for your next handful of throws.
Yeah, there's a creek
That's right.
down there
That's the landing zone that we were talking about.
that you want to try to get either throw it before, but if you can get past that creek and get really set up great for your second shot.
Yeah.
That
think the
punch
important
through,
thing
that
with-
was great.
The important thing with this shot, your first initial shot, is just keeping it low, making the triple mando, and trying to either pitch up right before or punch it through up to the other half of the creek.
Oh, man.
Just a
That's my play
Good
right
right
there.
on that
Hit first available.
yeah, and that's tough position too, because when you're that short, you really gotta. You have to be in a good position in order to have any look at that kind of second part of the fairway.
Yeah. It's jail back there where he's at. I was talking to Scott about this, where he's at, because that's where I like to land, about where he's at, a little further back, or not so far, and then just do a big spike hyzer over those trees and just get it into the fairway. So that's what he's doing. He's talking to the guys like, "Okay, watch my disc, because here it comes."
Someone keep an eye on it. Yeah, this is a great play. Once you get into that second fairway, the fairway kind of turns to the right and shapes up pretty nicely.
So that's a great first shot. And that's a great second shot.
Yeah, he'll have an easy third shot to get his birdie.
Look at this shot. Seth said, "I'm going over." I'm like, "What? How? Where will you ever find that disc?" And I couldn't believe how close he got it to the basket with that. Look at that.
Wow. Put himself in good position there. Yeah.
You deserved it after
He's obviously done that before, because
generally birdies don't come from the first available.
I think this is one of probably the hardest holes on the course, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, 17's it's a tough one. Just the fairway shaping and everything makes it really difficult.
Hole 18, par 4, 471 feet. I love this one too, because triple mando, and all you want to do is just get out about 200 feet, have it just kind of hyzer into the middle of the fairway. That's about all you can do off the tee to set yourself up for your second shot.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite holes on the course too. Yeah, especially from the pro position. I love the shape of the fairway here. Like the use of the triple mando.
Yeah, it's nice.
I knew LG was going to throw this hole.
I don't know who designed Ruby, but I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, fantastic job with the space. And this is where it gets kind of fun, is after that, your first initial shot off the tee, you can go, there's enough airspace, you can kind of go for this big hyzer, you can go straight at the basket, just like how Seth's doing here.
They used to have a double Mando there on the other side back in the day, but I guess they got rid of it. But you can see there's OB marked out there. And,
LG's in actually a really good spot here. He's got nice, for the most part, flat ground. He's got a good look at the basket from this position.
a really good throw.
Yeah, it is.
That's what happens if you go long off the tee right there. But
yeah, you gotta leave
Brandon,
that shot short.
Look at that flex shot. He's so good. A little too much floating on that.
Yeah. Seems like maybe he was fighting the wind a little bit on that as well. Brandon's just a bit short right off the basket.
Birdie though. That's a good birdie to get on 18.
Yeah, that's a great birdie for Seth. Par cleanup for the rest of the card. Honestly, the card had a really fantastic. I mean, probably the most impressive hole was Scott's throw in. I mean, just absolutely amazing. What a shot from him.
Yeah, that made the day worthwhile right there, just that one shot. So through 18, Brandon's down 8, Seth 5, Scott's down 5, and LG's down 3.
So what's your name?
So that was the end of this round. They are heading off next after lunch to go to
Do y'all play a lot of disc golf?
Northeast Lions in Northern.
Good. What's your favorite course?
To play the second round.
What's your favorite course?
We got a really good lead card that
Can you throw it over the water? Good.
And so I hope you guys pick up that round.
What's your expectation
and
today?
Go watch
You going to take it down?
Well, I want to thank Karen Schmidt for
How old are
asking
you guys?
me to come out and film and
well, good
support
luck today.
the disc golf youth in Northern Oklahoma. And we had a good time out there.
Yeah, this is a really great tournament. Good turnout. This first round was a lot of fun. I feel like Ruby Grant sets up a good second tournament over at Northeast Lions. I think the group will have a good time over there. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, watching this video. You made it all the way here to the end. Just a reminder to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, follow, comment on our videos, and we'll see you guys at the next round at Northeast Lions.
Thank you, everybody. Peace out.